In October 2015, at the CIA headquarters in Virginia, John Brennan receives a call from an unknown number. The caller sounds like a child who tells John that he has hacked all of the CIA systems, initially thought to be a prank call. This situation takes a serious turn considering John Brennan was the director of the world's most powerful intelligence agency. The CIA knowing his personal mobile number was already alarming. This is the story of two kids who hacked all of the CIA systems, causing a stir in America. Before the call, the CIA was already aware that their system had been hacked. The caller demanded that America, especially regarding Palestine, cease its attacks and let the world live in peace. Even before the call ended, the CIA knew their system had been compromised. This hacking, including the US, caused significant damage. The story will unfold further in the videos. Once the call ended, the entire American government and the CIA sprang into action. Because a child had hacked such a massive intelligence agency, it was a considerable embarrassment for the CIA agents. Only accept defeat in such circumstances if their identity is disclosed. Inside the CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, there is a Starbucks branch that serves coffee in cups without logos or agent names written on them. This is because tracing those cups back to the agents is impossible. Now imagine the level of caution the CIA takes with such small things. Having their system hacked was a significant event. As the investigation began, it was revealed that the call originated miles away from America, in the city of Leicester, England. A 15-year-old boy made the call, calling himself Cracker and leading a hacking community called Crackers with Attitude. To understand why and how this child hacked the CIA, we'll need to go back to 2008. Where the story begins with another boy in Virginia, USA. His identity is known by the name Default, and he was a big fan of video games. He started making changes in the programming of games to win them. He would modify online games like Counter-Strike according to his own preferences and easily win by changing the rules. In other words, when he made cheats, he began to control things his own way. Learning everything from the internet. The boy, known as Default, was inspired by a hacking group called Anonymous One, which was quite famous in 2008. Anonymous often made headlines at that time for hacking big websites and leaving their messages on them. Impressed by all this, Default also started stepping into the world of hacking. He started small hacking minor websites slowly, but he wanted to do something big, for which he needed to join a hacking group. So Default joined a hacking group called Anonymous Sec. This group had already hacked many websites, but their hacking was mostly politically motivated. Anonymous used a tool called Loic, meaning they spread viruses on the internet. Any computer infected by the virus would come under Anonymous Sec's control. They called this whole network a botnet because Default was a member of Anonymous Sec. He also had access to this botnet. He saw that there was a computer in this botnet that belonged to a medical college in Canada. Default put in a little effort and managed to access the financial records of that medical college. He found out that the school had to collect more than $9 million from students, and all these records were now in Default's possession. L's first hacking from the computer had been successful. Due to this, chaos ensued in the medical college's system. While his first hacking was mischievous, the next one was done in anger. In 2014, the government of Denmark passed a shameful law allowing genetic modification with animals. This news outraged animal rights activists worldwide. Default also had a dog himself, whom he loved dearly. Therefore, in anger, Default, along with his group, hacked Denmark's official website and wrote big statements on it, asking if people knew that their government allowed genetic modification with animals. Not only that, Default used the botnet to attack and shut down websites that favored this law. Due to the hacking of Denmark's official website, this matter spread, and criticism started pouring in from all over the world. People began to speak ill of Denmark. Eventually, the Danish government couldn't bear the pressure and had to retract the decision the following year. Default had succeeded in his goal for the first time, but people began to credit a non-group for it, as they were the ones making headlines for hacking at that time. Default didn't like this at all, as he felt that he wasn't getting the credit he deserved. However, he didn't lose courage and continued his work like other hackers. Default also didn't disclose his identity. He knew that if he were ever traced because of hacking, the consequences could be severe. He didn't use his home Wi-Fi normally. Instead, he had bought a satellite connection installed far from his home through which he accessed the internet. His computer was also quite secure. Due to this security, it took 30 minutes for his computer to turn on, but he had no problem waiting for it for the sake of his privacy. So far, you've only learned about two characters in this story. One is Kika, who lived in England, and the other is Default, who lived in USA before 2013. They didn't know each other. However, an incident occurred that brought them together. Edward Joseph Snowden, who was a computer intelligence consultant at the National Security Agency (NSA) and an American government project. When they were working on this project, they found out that the CIA keeps the data and private information of every internet user and uses it for their own purposes, without the user's knowledge. Edward wanted to expose this secret of the CIA, but they were also afraid that doing this work while living in America could be risky. Either they would be killed or imprisoned for leaking secret information. Therefore, Edward took leave and went to Hong Kong, where he exposed America's secret in front of journalists. As soon as this news was leaked, it created a sensation. Worldwide, people began to feel angry that their data was being used without their permission, and their every move was being monitored. As a reaction to this, DNC contact acted each other. Both decided to teach a lesson to the American government and the CIA. They wanted to make the CIA realize how it feels when personal information of people is leaked without their consent. The goal of CIA and Default was the same. While Default wanted to retaliate against the USA for ending the privacy of his people, CIA wanted to retaliate for the attacks on Gaza. That is, the common enemy for both was the American government. First, they published the phone number of James Clapper, the director of the National Intelligence Agency, and anyone could easily get his phone number just by searching. Now, instead of hacking someone else, they wanted to hack a high-profile individual, and they took on the mission to hack the director of the CIA, John Brennan. CIA began searching for John on the internet, and he found a public phone number. He saw that the number belonged to very John, who was an American mobile operator. He called the internal tech team of Verizon, pretending to be an employee of the same company, and said that he was contacting them to solve a customer's problem because there was a technical issue in his system. The Verizon team asked for a PIN code to confirm his identity, which he had already found out by hacking earlier. After verification, Verizon shared John Brennan's personal details with C. NLC has John Brennan's account number, backup, mobile number address, and the last 4 digits of his bank card. Now, the next step was to hack Brennan's email. Cree found out that John Brennan uses an email from a company called AOL instead of Yahoo or Gmail. He called AOL and said that he is John Brandon and has forgotten his password and needs it reset. The AOL support member asked for the last 4 digits of the bank card to confirm, which CA already had. In this way, Carr immediately gained access to his email address. Now, the personal email account of the CIA director was in Kay's possession. He opened John Brandon's private email, which contained all the important and top secret documents, the data of other CIA officers, their social security numbers, and instructions from the government were also there. By then, Brandon had also learned that his email account had been hacked, and he immediately closed his account. It was already too late because Kika had already downloaded all the data. Kika started publishing all the official documents one by one, causing chaos throughout America. The entire world was witnessing the CIA's disrepute. Now it had become inevitable for the hackers to be caught. He desperately wanted to catch them as soon as possible, but they couldn't find any clues. After a few days of calling Brennan, Cree shared the personal information of 9,000 Department of Justice employees and the personal information of 20,000 FBI agents on social media. After doing all this, CIA was living his life comfortably. He thought that maybe getting caught was impossible. But on the other hand, Default, who was a resident of the USA, started getting worried. He was afraid that if he was caught, his capabilities would be revealed. Maybe he would never get caught if there hadn't been Default's mistake. He told his friend in a drunken state that he was behind hacking the CIA. It's his fault. This is the Default. And Crocker took both. After a few days, FBI raids Default's room and they dragged him and took him for interrogation. The name of Crocker also came up, which got arrested with the help of British police. Kay's real name is Ken Gamble, while Default's name is Justin Gry Liverman. Due to being underage, CIA was sentenced to 2 years in prison, while Default, who was not directly involved in hacking the CIA, was sentenced to 5 years. Both are now free from jail. and are advancing their careers in cybersecurity. What do you think? Did they do the right thing or wrong? Please let me know in the comments. I hope that you will also like and share this video. See you in the next fantastic video.